Hi, this is Chris and welcome to Tiafo Garage. So this is a pretty delayed video. I should have put this out I don't know, within a few weeks of Car Week, but it's been a couple of months. Let me tell you what's been going on though.
Tiafo Garage.
Car Week is always busy for me. So, I show my car at various shows, go to various events and stuff like that. But immediately upon getting back from Car Week, I was really slammed at my day job for like the next 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, just, working like 10 hours a day, if not longer. But aside from just that, my wife and I also happened to buy a house like the day after Car Week. So, and we did it in a very fast, like 14-day close, and it was insane. So I was slammed at work, slammed with closing on a house. And then after we closed on that house, I was slammed with packing, hiring movers, transferring, services like, internet and all that kind of stuff, and then getting moved. So life was just really busy. And during all that time, I also had to fix my oil pressure sender unit in my 308 GT4. You may recall during Car Week, we met up with Hoovie, or Tyler from Hoovie's Garage, and he took a drive in Greg's Dino 246. He also took a drive in my 308 GT4. When Hoovie got in, you may remember that he said,
So we are reading 0 oil pressure.
Oh, it takes a minute to warm up. But yeah, we're good on oil pressure. We better be good on oil pressure.
Okay.
Let me explain what happened. The day we met with Hoovie was the same day as Concorso Italiano. I unexpectedly won a gold award for my 308 GT4. I never really expected to win anything, but I'll talk about that in another video when I actually get to making the Concorso judging video. I won gold, so I drove across the podium, got my award, went back to where I was parked, put my belongings in the car, and then I literally left to go meet up with Tyler and Greg. I got there, everything's fine, and Hoovie got delayed a little bit, so we were probably there, I don't know, about an hour, maybe a little less, waiting on Hoovie, and he showed up, did his thing with Greg's car, came back, and he did his thing with my car. He gets in my car and sees, oh, there's no oil pressure. I'm thinking oil temperature. I literally just won the gold award at Concorso Italiano. And believe me, if there was a big oil leak in my car, they would have seen it. So I would have seen it when we had the engine popped and there was nothing at the time. So I was just thinking, oh, it's the temperature. So I'm like, oh, it warms up. It takes a minute. He's like, are you sure? Whatever. We go for the drive. And it occurred to me while we were on the drive that, oh, he said pressure, not temperature. And maybe the oil pressure sender unit has failed. It's failed before. I've replaced it before. So when we got back, sure enough, we discovered that the oil pressure sender unit had indeed failed. It was leaking. It was a pretty healthy leak, but there was still plenty of oil in the car and pressure was fine. Just the unit wasn't reading correctly anymore. So I did drive home that night safely. Everything was good. Went to replace the oil pressure sender unit, so I had to buy a new one. Ordered that from Superformance out of the UK, and got it in. And of course, getting it off became quite the nightmare. So let me show you what I had to do in order to replace this oil pressure sender unit. So this is the engine of the 308 GT4. The oil pressure sender unit is right beneath the red oil filter, right there. That is the new one currently installed, working great at the moment. You would think it would be easy just to remove the oil filter to get to that and take off the oil pressure sender unit. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. You essentially have to take off the entire top half of the engine in order to get to it without the proper tools. Let me show you what I mean. So this is what I'm removing. That's the old oil pressure sender unit. You can see it's a little marred up because I've been trying to take it off with pliers. I don't care about the old one. It's not original anyway. I had this tool. This is 17 millimeters. It worked perfect on the original oil pressure sender unit. It would go in here, right around there, and that nut would fit on, and you would just take it right off. You didn't have to take the whole engine apart or nothing. The problem is this replacement sender unit and the new one that I just ordered, the nut is 24 millimeters. So this is a 24 millimeter crowfoot that I have. Thought that would fit. Problem is, it doesn't really have the clearance to move. You know, you can only really get it in on this side if you're lucky. But I can't even get it in. Now I have unscrewed this enough. I can pull that up. But even then, I don't have the clearance to get that crowfoot in there. So I think what we need to do is trim this down on those sides, and I should be able to get it in there and take this thing off. It's been a disaster so far. Now for side 2. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Nice and thin. All right, here is what we made. We're gonna see if we can't get this to work. So this took quite a while to take off, even after I got home with the tool that Greg had cut for me. Took about half an hour, I think. I had to put it on, turn it about, I don't know, a quarter of a turn, take it off, reposition it, turn it a quarter of a turn, take it off, reposition. I kept having to do that. It did take a while, but I did finally get it off. What you didn't see here is when I dropped a wrench down the engine and it didn't hit the ground. It got stuck somewhere inside. I could not find it from the top. I ended up having to jack the car up, take the wheel off, take the inner liner off, and was able to see it and easily pull it out. I did take advantage of that opportunity, though, to replace my fuel filter, since it's right there, and I'd been meaning to do that anyway. Let's see if I'll just go by. Oh, yes, now I can just get it by hand. Here we go. It is off. Oh my God. All right, so I cleaned it up a little bit down there. Got all the oil and stuff off, and the liquid wrench, and I think there's a little WD-40. Anyway, I wanted to clean it up a little bit so that when I put the new part on, it'll go in just fine. Now, there's a couple things to know about the new part. It has a little copper gasket that goes around the end, around here, like so. All right, and we need to put a seal on it. So we've got this Loctite flange sealant. So I have these little, well, they're kind of big popsicle sticks, but I recommend using like a little stir stick, like for coffee or something. I don't know. I can't get it to squeeze out. I'm not strong enough, apparently. So what I'm going to do is put that copper ring on. I'm going to scoop some of this out like so, and just going to put it around the edge as neatly as possible, but on there pretty good. This will create a seal. All right, so about like that. It's kind of messy looking. I'm gonna put this back on. And now we're gonna put this in the car. Putting it in is going to be a lot easier. It's just going to be a simple screw in, like so. So this can just be tightened up by hand. Gentle, I don't want to break it. Okay, so that's about as tight as it's going to go by hand. That is perfectly fine. I'm going to take my hacked wrench here, or shaved snap-on, and I'm going to find my wrench there, I mean my torque wrench, and we're going to see if we can get it up here on this end. Perfect. And then just, all right, that's exactly how it needs to be. All right, then this end we will plug in a moment. So once I got that screwed in, I just put the rest of the engine together and it was done, finally. I didn't film a lot of this because, quite frankly, this took like about 2 weeks to get done because I ordered a tool that I thought would work and it didn't. I had to go over to Greg's and make the tool, had to order the part from Superformance as well. So all this took a little while to actually get complete, and there was a lot of frustration involved because things weren't doing what they should do. I dropped tools down the engine, etc., etc. But ultimately, it all worked out in the end, and now that I've got that crow's foot cut, I'll be able to use that in the future when I have to replace the oil pressure center unit again, which I most certainly will because these things fail a lot. There is a more permanent solution that would require a little bit of alteration. I might look into that, but right now it's working and hopefully it won't fail again. So thank you for watching Tiafo Garage. I'm Chris. We'll see you again soon.